Her reaction isn't the problem. In the next 20 seconds, I want to show you the exact moment where a viral TikTok trend goes from healthy accountability to casual armchair diagnosis. Here's the clip that sparked a wave of agreement and a fair bit of outrage.
She got upset because of your actions. You got upset because of her reaction to your actions. That's not the same. Stop acting like she's creating negativity just because she's holding you accountable. And don't gaslight her by saying all you want to do is argue when she's telling you how you make her feel. That's manipulation. That's narcissistic. Own up to what you did, because you don't get to hurt her and then play the victim when she calls you out.
It's an emotional message, and that's why it's gone viral. I'm Jordan Travers, a psychotherapist and clinical director of Awake Therapy. Let's break this down line by line and look at where this message hits the mark and where it crosses into misused psychology. But before we start, don't forget to hit subscribe for evidence-based insights on human behavior and relationships. Let's start with the opening idea. She got upset because of your actions. You got upset because of her reaction to your actions. That's not the same. This is actually solid relationship insight. It distinguishes between primary hurt, someone reacting to a real issue, and secondary defensiveness, someone reacting to being called out. In psychology, we call this emotional shifting, moving the focus from the person who was hurt to the person who feels uncomfortable being confronted. That's not accountability, that's avoidance. So far, the message works. Now, here's where the tone shifts and the psychology gets misapplied. Don't gaslight her by saying all she wants to do is argue. Dismissing that is manipulation, it's narcissistic. This is where we move from describing behavior to diagnosing personality, and that's where the problem starts. The moment you use clinical language, gaslighting, narcissistic, in casual relationship talk, you're not helping communication, you're escalating it. Labels close doors. They trigger defensiveness, not reflection. From a psychological standpoint, defensiveness is one of the biggest barriers to empathy. When people feel labeled, they stop listening and start protecting themselves. So even if the goal is accountability, labeling can have the opposite effect. It pushes the other person further away from change. Now, to be clear, not every difficult conversation is gaslighting. Sometimes people just disagree, misremember, or feel misunderstood. Gaslighting is intentional distortion, a power move that makes someone doubt their own perception or sanity. That's very different from an emotionally charged argument between two people who both feel hurt. When we blur that line, we dilute the meaning of serious psychological concepts, and we make healthy accountability harder to achieve. Still, the creator's core message is valid. Reacting with hurt isn't the same as starting drama, and calling out harmful behavior isn't negativity. If someone's been ignored or dismissed repeatedly, their emotional reaction isn't the issue, it's a symptom. That kind of overreaction is often built on long-term frustration or invisibility. But it's also true that yelling, blaming, or attacking can cross a line too. Healthy accountability involves strong emotion, yes, but also mutual respect. Otherwise, it turns into defensiveness on both sides. Here's the key point. If you want real change, critique behavior, not identity. Calling someone narcissistic shuts the door. Describing what they did and how it affected you, that opens the conversation. True accountability is about connection, not condemnation. It's about creating space for reflection, not just assigning fault. Now, let's talk about what accountability really means and what the science says. In 2022, research created a standardized accountability scale, 11 items designed to measure how people handle responsibility in relationships. Across over 1,200 participants, about 1/3 scored high on accountability. These individuals were more likely to repair relationships, practice empathy, and find meaning after conflict. Another third scored low, struggling more with defensiveness and emotional regulation. The rest fell somewhere in between. What the researchers found is that accountability comes down to two skills. The first, responsive listening, explaining decisions transparently and being open to feedback. And the second, responsibility, taking ownership, correcting mistakes, and acting to make things right. Or put simply, I hear you, here's what I did, here's why it mattered, and here's how I'll make it right. That's the psychology of accountability. Not perfection, but repair. Here's what a healthy version of this viral moment should look like. Instead of yelling or labeling, one partner says, when you ignored me earlier, I felt dismissed. I don't want to argue. I want to understand what happened. And the other response, you're right. I was defensive and I'll do better next time. That's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence. Because when both people focus on solutions instead of blame, the whole dynamic shifts from drama to progress. So yes, her reaction isn't the problem. The real problem is when accountability gets lost in defensiveness, diagnosis, and emotional crossfire. If we can refocus on behavior, empathy, and repair, that's where real change begins. I'm Jordan Travers, the clinical director of Awake Therapy. And if you found this useful, hit like and share. It helps others see the difference between real accountability and emotional reactivity. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.